This is so much harder when I know people personally.
I know.
It's so good to see you. You guys, this is my friend Shantay. We're talking about, I guess, your weight loss journey specifically.
So, a big part of the program that I did to help me lose weight. So I can tell you, I lost just over 30 pounds. But I try not to put like my actual numbers out there just because like somebody can weigh the exact same weight, but because of the way that their body is built and the way that, they carry themselves and all of that, that number can be something completely different for everybody. So like I'll tell you, I lost just over 30 pounds, but like I don't know that I really want to share my exact numbers.
Fair.
Just because I like to try and focus more on how I feel.
Yeah.
And that number is more just a gauge of like what works for me and what doesn't. I like to focus more on what makes me feel good.
I like that. So something, and I totally am not even meaning to bring this up because this is like a totally different type of thing. But somebody had posted on Facebook recently saying that when they're on dating apps and a girl asks about their height and how that's like a dating expectation, is it the same thing to ask about a girl's weight and kind of have a preference or an expectation during that? And that's like a whole nother like conversation, but somebody commented on there and I really like the way she explained it. She said, if you're setting your limit to 130 pounds, she's like, I could be 150 and healthy, like, and I feel good.
Right.
So,
well, and like 150 on a girl that's 5'10" looks a lot different than a girl that's 150 pounds that's 5 feet tall, you know? So it's just, and like a girl could be super muscular and weigh, 150 and still be very physically fit, very lean. And the scale is such a tricky thing.
yeah,
It's a tricky thing.
completely. And I kind of want to go back a little bit and retract you guys because I don't want any of my viewers thinking that their worth is by a number, but some people's goals are to lose a certain amount of weight. And to kind of throw this out there too, there are a lot of things that can intervene with that, like thyroid issues or other things. So it's important to not feel defeated and just go after that number,
Right. For sure. Yeah.
So when did your, I guess we'll start with like, when did your workout routine start?
So, I don't know how far back you want me to go. I started working out and eating clean in March.
But were you
March
always
23rd,
somebody
which is
who
also
was
my
like,
sister.
sorry, a little bit of lag there. Were you always somebody that like kind of had that routine? Because I mean, I've known you for a while. I don't remember you being super like, I'm going to get up and work for an hour and do this.
No. So, okay. I have kind of always had body issues. Growing up, it was always a topic growing up in my family. I can tell you the first time that somebody called me fat when I was in elementary school, so it's always been a thing that I've been like hyper aware of. And I've tried a lot of things. I've done a ton of fad diets. I would do really well with working out, but I was eating and drinking a lot on this, like outside of the gym. And so it wasn't ever something that was super consistent. And it was always about validation and trying to get other people to see me in a certain way. So I haven't always been one that consistently works out and takes care of myself and my body. So that piece, committing to working out, committing to eating healthy, that really took place in March this year.
Nice. And what was that like aha moment for you? That was like, I'm going to be consistent.
So, I I have a friend, her name's Dacia, and she 3 years ago did this same program that I did. And she ended up becoming a coach. So it became a really big part of her life. And because we were friends, I kind of had a passenger seat watching her go through all of that. For me, I always was like, I can do it on my own. I know what I need to eat. I know how many calories I need to eat. I know I need to work out. Like my brain knows what to do.
Yeah.
Then fast forward, I had my two kids. And when I found out that my second child was going to be a little girl, I remember saying to my husband, like, how do I raise a little girl to have a positive body image and raise her to know that her worth doesn't depend on, the way that she looks, when I don't even have that for myself. And so she kind of was the big trigger for me. It did take a little bit after she was born, obviously, because I was nursing and had
Mom
just
life.
had a baby. Yeah, had a
Yeah.
baby. So it took a minute for me to get to a place where I was able to commit. But really, I think it was my kids and wanting to give them that, what's the word? Like role model. I wanted to be a
Mhm.
good role model for them. And I wanted to model that because nobody in my family ever specifically said, hey, you have these issues with your body. But the way that they talked about themselves obviously taught me
Mm.
the habits and the issues that I had. So I didn't want
Yeah.
to, I wanted to stop that and not pass it on.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that. And so and I really like the, message to everybody that's listening. You needed another friend. Like I feel like we're some of the 5 people that we hang around with the most.
Hmm.
And that's even said to, of what we follow on social media. So
Yeah.
I like that. Like, did you just start seeing her stuff on social? Like, you already knew her, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
But were you guys like super close? Is she in your friend group?
Yeah. Yep. So she and I have been friends for, gosh, it's been 11 years, 11 or 12 years. So, we worked together. We talked quite a bit. I followed her on all of social media. And so it was something that was very present in my life, I
Nice.
guess. Yeah.
Nice. Good. Well, good. What was her name again?
Dacia.
Dacia. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Dacia, for being a good influence. Um,
She's a-
so tell me, I'm a bad friend. I've known you for like 11 years as well. I should know how old your kids are. Is your youngest, is she almost 2?
yeah, so she's almost 18 months. She
Okay.
was born, yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what does I kind of want to pick your brain on like your mom routine with this. Like,
Yeah.
how are you giving yourself time to do this stuff? What does a day in the life of Shantay look like?
So do you want like the ideal or do you want
No, I want the messy one. I want
real
your
life?
messy day.
So when I okay, most days, so my son is 4. He still struggles to sleep through the night. He ends up in my room and or back and forth. So sleep for me is like a hot commodity.
Yeah.
So early morning workouts are like my ideal, but 9 times out of 10 that doesn't happen. So we get up, we get the kids ready, we take them to the sitter, I go to work, come home, and then it's dinner, bath time, bedtime. And most of the time my workout is after the kids are in bed. So like
Mm.
between 9 and 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And then weekends, obviously, my husband gets to manage the business while I take my time to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, um, gosh, you started this during quarantine. Do you,
Hmm.
do you feel like this was like a quarantine put? Were you already starting this when COVID and everything really hit?
So I've wanted to sign up for this specific program for a really long time. Since before I had my son. But I also knew I didn't want to put in that investment. And maybe this is a cop out. It probably is. but I didn't really want to like put in all of that work and lose all of that weight and then have two babies and then feel like I was starting at ground zero.
Mm,
Even though, I mean, you can work out and have a healthy pregnancy and still continue your workout routine. But for me, it just wasn't something that I was ready to commit to at that
mhm.
point. Um, so I've wanted to do it for a long time. And it just ended up that March was like the stars aligned and everything worked out perfectly for me to be able to start. They started offering a postpartum program through them.
Nice.
So I was able to continue nursing and they were super flexible and great about that. And so it kind of all just worked out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it was good.
And I've actually heard, I think that's a huge thing with moms is especially for women waiting to have more kids. But would you say, like knowing what you know now and feeling how you feel now, would you go back and start your workout routine before you got pregnant a second time?
Yes,
Absolutely.
for sure.
It,
Just because it, like, for me, a big benefit, like, obviously losing weight is a benefit, right? But aside from that, working out and getting that time to myself, it helps my anxiety so much. Like if I
Mhm.
skip workouts, my anxiety is much worse. And so I think, especially as a pregnant mom, especially as a new mom, having that natural way of managing your stress and your anxiety would have been huge for me.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that, and you can't, it's not like you have an hour to yourself and you take a bath and you scroll social media. That's
Mhm.
not like a huge mental release for people. I
Right.
feel like you need a big physical release, whether that's walking outside with no electronics, a workout, meditation.
Mhm.
I've heard working out is just something that's so healthy for your brain, and
Yeah.
not to mention, if you've cleaned up your diet, I'm sure your energy levels are just completely
Oh,
shifted.
yeah. Hmm. For sure.
So, how's your no soda? You don't do any soda?
Mm-mm.
No
But
soda.
I wasn't a huge soda drinker, anyways.
I have it here
So,
and there. I
yeah.
stopped really big in like 2014, but soda wasn't hard to get away from. I'm finding like while I'm out and that kind of food, like it's just so convenient, especially on the mom days where I'm like, I did not do anything on Sunday to plan for dinner for the week. So
Yeah.
tonight we're doing pizza.
Hmm.
So do
Yeah.
you get those cheat days here and
Yeah.
there or yeah?
Hmm. So, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I really loved about the program that I did was it's all about making a lifestyle change. So it's not about a diet. It's not about counting calories or cutting out huge groups of foods. It's about how to make decisions that work for your body, that make you feel good, um, and find that balance between like your clean eating and your healthy eating, and obviously having those mom moments where it's like we're having pizza for dinner
Yeah.
or it's been a crap day and I'm going to have two glasses of wine.
Yeah.
So finding balance, working it into your lifestyle is really, I think, for me, what made all the difference.
Well, and I liked picking on you and asking for your messy routine because I
Mhm.
think that a lot of people get a misconception that like, they just beat themselves up if they don't start doing their routine and they're like, "Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
do it for 2 days." Just freaking do something. Like even if it
Right.
was like 20 minutes of just like meditation, maybe it wasn't the workout you wanted, but you're up early. Um and I don't know how your program works, but do you guys do like words of affirmation, anything like that?
So, yes, kind of. So, the way that the program works, I don't know how much you want me to go into it. I can,
Honestly, I really don't mind. I want this to be information. I
yeah,
can't talk today ever. I want this to be informative for moms, and if they can take value from it, then great. I
yeah,
don't like obviously like disclaimer. I don't think everything works out for everybody.
hmm,
But this worked for you and your friend. plug it in. Like, tell me
Yeah.
what's up. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm just going to shameless plug then.
perfect.
So the program is called All In by Teddy. And if you want more info, you can go to my Instagram and
We'll
look it
link
up,
it.
because I am a coach with them now, which is great for me. But the way that the program works, just a quick rundown, you are assigned an accountability coach. So your coach works with you every day. They send you like a motivational message, they keep you on track. They hold you accountable to your commitments. So you commit to eating clean, you commit to working out, they hold you accountable to that. Because obviously at 9 o'clock at night after putting my kids to bed, I don't always want to go and work out.
Motivation
So
is fleeting. Yeah.
yes. So knowing that there's somebody there cheering me on, wanting me to succeed, wanting to make them proud, that really for me was what made all of the difference. So not necessarily words of affirmation, but like you have this whole tribe of people. You have this group that wants to see you succeed and is cheering you on and is reminding you of your commitments and your goals.
I think that's how everything kind of works in life. Like,
Yeah.
let's think about how church works. Let's think about how schools work.
Right.
Think about how, I mean, parenting works. Like, I know thinking back as a child, I feel less motivated when my parents aren't happy for me or they're not encouraging me. Like my goals kind of, I actually, to come back to things that you said, your parents didn't really have a lot of this in their family. This wasn't something,
Mm-hmm.
well, not to pick on your parents are actually pretty great, but um but yeah, like that habit, I think that that's actually what is super important about having coaches, because especially if you have friends, like for me, entrepreneurship is huge, but being around my other friends who aren't entrepreneurs, they don't want to hear what Instagram's doing with their new algorithms. Like they don't care.
Right.
So they don't want to know. But if I get a business coach that's like, hey, Des, did you see this article come out? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, look at all this
Right.
crazy stuff in the business world. It's just, it is nice to get that vibe and succeed in the specific niche that you want to succeed in,
Mm-hmm.
by having that person, not just like, I mean, YouTube videos are great. Thanks, guys. But actually having someone like, no, Shantay, did you get both the kids to the babysitters or did you have a breakdown and like not work out today?
Right. Right.
So that's kind of cool. So now you're a coach.
Yep.
And so all her information is linked below. We'll have that. So what is the first thing you would tell somebody kind of in that rut right there? Like, I know I want this, but I've struck, like, basically, what would you say to Shantay starting if you were
Just
coaching?
do it.
Just
I would
do it.
say just do it. I would say the first step is the hardest. And once you get past that, I mean, obviously, it's not ever going to be easy. There are going to be challenges, but I can promise you that it will be worth it. And yeah, you just have to go for it. You've got to make yourself a priority. You can't fill from an empty cup. And yeah, really, you just got to just do it.
Oh,
Nike,
10,000.
Nike says,
Yeah,
just do it.
just do it. Shia LaBeouf has ruined that for me. Every single time I hear it now, I just see Shia, just do it, screaming at us.
Oh, I won't scream at you.
Oh, that's good. That's okay. So you're not the screamy coach. You're just
No.
that's good. You're the check-in coach.
Yeah, how's your day? You're doing great. I'm proud of you, coach.
Nice. But see, and we all need that. And that's kind of, for a lot of women, I think sometimes they're not getting that from their husbands all the time. Or I mean, heck, my kids aren't saying that to me. My kid wants the tablet as soon as
Right.
he can. Or
Yeah.
so how much longer do I have on games? And all the time. So I think it's, yeah, everyone needs to kind of recognize. I say it in literally every single video. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's dog training or infertility. Like it doesn't matter what I've talked about on this show. Everyone's message is the same. Find your tribe and just do
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
Cool.
I would agree 100%. Yep.
So I want to talk to you about what you're eating, if you feel comfortable sharing that.
Sure. Um, so I can't really give you like all specifics, obviously.
Hmm.
The biggest focus for me is just clean eating. I eat a ton of fruits and vegetables. I stay away from dairy for the most part. Um, I very rarely drink alcohol anymore. Trying to think.
Alcohol was a
Lots of whole
big one.
grains.
Like for
Yeah.
me, I lost all my weight. Once I stopped drinking, I
Mhm.
lost literally like 20 pounds.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, and it just like the way that it messes with your body, and it doesn't make me feel good. Like, yeah, maybe a glass of wine here and there will help me wind down or whatever, but like going out and drinking and partying and then waking up and trying to take care of two kids the next day
Mm-mm.
is freaking miserable. So it just isn't conducive for my lifestyle really.
Um, Sorry, I kind of have like a
You're
brain
good.
fart. Um, let's pick on you a bit more. What else do we want to
Good.
talk about? I already have your morning routine, your mom routine. Um, we kind of talked about that a little bit.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing while doing this that I want women to get a very realistic grasp on. I feel like motherhood is a huge sacrifice. So sometimes my advice is going to resonate more with women who have older children or who
Mhm.
have, you know, kids potty trained. I don't know. Like there's just certain
Yeah.
like niches that, or not niches, excuse me, certain time frames that I think that your kids are just like super needy, and that's how it is.
Mhm.
And then obviously, one day they're 12, 13, and you're not doing as much. And we're still mom, like we're still
Right.
like doing that. So what is something that, kind of throw a curveball at you, what is something that you feel like you will teach your kids from this journey?
Hmm. A lot. I really do feel like there's a lot of things that I could insert here. Um, I think the biggest thing for me, like I said, I want to be a good role model for them. If I could have them take one thing away from this change that I'm making, it would be um, to make sure that they make themselves a priority, that their happiness and their health is a bigger priority than what other people think of them, than pleasing other people. And also just that their worth isn't based off of what all of those other people think. Like finding your own worth in the things that you do for yourself, the things that you make a priority. um I feel like I'm just rambling, so
No, you're good. No, I love it. And do you feel like you're taking some of these things and you're implementing it in the way your children are eating now?
oh for sure, yeah, like I know, like I make sure that my kids have, you know, a lot more servings of fruits and vegetables. I'm a lot more conscious of, what they're um eating and drinking, but at the same time they're kids,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
giving them that like childhood still. Obviously, like I don't monitor what they eat, I don't track what they eat, anything like that.
You're not like
It's
ban all otter pops.
right, like we didn't cancel Halloween, they still get their Halloween candy and they
Yeah.
still get dessert, but also making sure that they're getting those fruits and vegetables in, they're getting in those healthy foods along with all of the other like fun kid things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this is, I mean, whether or not you stick to this specific coaching program, like I've known you for 11 years and I've never seen you more vibrant is the best word that I have for you. Like I've seen you in all stages of your life, I feel, or I guess
Mhm.
not all. I met you like after high school, but
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And that like into womanhood, like I seriously like um yeah, you're just You're adorable. And not only are you but like you're thriving. And I love
Yeah.
like that I can just see the mindset flip in you
Mhm.
that you're just like, "Pfft, I'm gonna go get it. Like
Yeah,
whatever it is. Like, do you feel like this helped you in other areas of your life?
for sure. Like my confidence has never been higher. Not just like body confidence, but confidence. If you had asked me a year ago to do this interview, I would have flat out turned you down.
I believe that. Like, and well, and the more I see you posting online, I'm like, this is a new Shantay because this is
Yeah,
not stuff that you'd normally be doing at all.
right. And I will be honest, it's very much still outside of my comfort zone. But for me, there hasn't always been a lot of great things that have come from my comfort zone. So stepping outside of that, finding, those things that bring me joy, those things that make me happy, um, that make me feel good, not just feel good, but like feel good. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not like that fleeting feel good, but feel good about myself and my choices and proud, make me feel proud. Those, I think it's been a big mind shift for me for sure.
Yeah. Your hubby should be very proud.
He he's great.
Yeah. And does he have the same routine as you? Like, is
No.
he doing this stuff yet? So, do you find that that was a little harder to get started, like not being in the same routine as him? Or,
Um, yes and no. I mean, I lucked out with him for sure. He is so 100% supportive of anything that I want to do. He backs me up. He's got my back. It is hard as far as like the eating and stuff goes
mm,
because he always says, "I'll eat whatever you make. Like
yeah,
whatever you put in front of me, I will eat." But I also know that it's not something that he enjoys the same way that I do.
mm,
So just trying to find that balance between my people pleasing self and wanting to make sure that like I'm taking care of them because I'm such a mother hen
yeah,
and sticking to my own routine. That balance at first was really hard. But
yeah.
once we got it figured out and um, once we got it into our routine, once it turned into a routine, it got a lot easier.
Yeah. I find that too. Like if I could just eat chicken and rice through the week and my vegetables, like
Right,
it'd be fine, but my family might hate me. And
right,
I mean, I don't need that, but
right.
I almost
Or
feel
they
like a robot.
yeah.
Like at some point food just kind of became food and I like food. And
Mhm,
occasionally like, I like to drink here and there.
mhm.
But it definitely isn't something that like those are two different things. I definitely couldn't drink every weekend. I probably could just eat bland food all week if my family
Mhm.
didn't hate me. Like I'm just like
Right.
so busy that I'm like, I don't care. Like, let's get it over with. Let's eat.
Mhm.
Go on.
Honestly, that's kind of what I ended up doing because it's what worked for me. I would eat the same thing every day all week. But it was
So
because yeah, it was things that were easy for me to have on hand, prepped and ready that I could still cook dinner for my family, but have my own thing ready and not have to cook two separate meals. Do you know
mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So adding in, those extra things for them that they enjoy while still maintaining my own routine was big.
Ah,
I think people get bored with that, but for me, it just worked.
I feel like it's something it's almost like addiction in a sense.
Mhm.
Like you finally get away from those foods. I've experienced this a few times. When you finally get away from it, you're not thinking about it as much.
Right.
And then you can get in the like, let's eat, let's go type of thing. But
Yeah.
it definitely takes a while. And I think it's the sugar. I think it's
Yeah.
um
That was so hard for me in the beginning was because for sure, I have a sweet tooth major. And so for me, that was very hard in the beginning, especially because Easter came up like in the middle of all of it. And I was like, please,
ooh.
with the sugar and the Cadbury eggs and the, yeah. But the longer that I went without it, the easier it was to say no to it. But
Yeah.
also knowing that I had, I had those flex days, those where I could indulge a little bit and get rid of that craving for a minute, um, was good too. It was a good thing to have in my back pocket if it ever got like, I
Yeah.
need a piece of sugar right now.
Yeah. Well, and that would be a good thing to plan out too, because then like that month you are going to sugar relapse twice. Like that
Mhm.
you're going to do this twice rather than just kind of unpredictably one day I'm gonna cave and have a sweet.
Right.
So do you feel like actually you just said that scheduling that out with made that easier for you?
Yeah. So like I would plan, okay, this day I know we're going to go, maybe not so much anymore, but like we're going to go out to dinner and I'm going to have a meal that isn't necessarily on this clean eating plan. So in order to prep for that, the rest of my day is going to be clean, super clean. I'm going to get my workout in before. I'm going to drink a lot of water so that I don't retain so much water with all the extra sodium.
Hmm.
And it's like, I know the next day, um, I'm going to maybe not feel my best. That's see, and I don't know. That doesn't really, it's interesting, starting to recognize those things in your body too,
Right. Right.
because I know, okay, if I go and I eat this specific thing, I'm not going to feel as great as I would have if I had eaten something that was super clean.
Yes.
So also recognizing that was big because it helped get rid of those temptations a little bit more too.
Yeah. And that's huge. Paying attention to how you feel after you eat something.
Hmm.
For instance, I love Arby's. Like
Same.
so much.
So
And their apple
mhm.
turnovers. Mhm.
So good. Hmm.
Like I want all of it. But when I eat Arby's, it goes through me within like 2 hours. I'm hungry
Hmm.
again. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes I'm like going through the motions fast and I'm like, okay, out of the fast food places that I could eat, price range, Arby's is what I settle for.
Hmm.
But the times that I can plan on going to a local restaurant and actually go spend like $15 on my meal and eat local chicken that is good
Hmm.
chicken, um,
Right.
and
And
they
like
like
fresh vegetables and yeah.
yep, and then I'm full every time I eat at this restaurant near my house. I'm not even kidding. Like 7 hours until I'm hungry again. Like, I
Hmm.
am, like, full for the count and, like,
Right.
all night. I hate waking up hungry. That's when you know that you didn't take care of yourself really
Right.
well the day before, but I just wake up sometimes, like, exhausted when I don't
Mhm.
eat clean or even just, like I guess not calories isn't what I'm going for. Um, Protein's my biggest
Like
one. I have a
nutrition.
vitamin yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a vitamin D deficiency as of
Mhm.
recently. So that's been like a big counter, with vitamins and whatnot. But it's important to be aware of that stuff. Otherwise, you're just feeling like crap and try to mask it with other things, and that's not helping.
Right. Right. For
So
sure.
you cut dairy out of your diet.
Hmm. I've
It's not
done
hard.
that. Yeah, I have done that a lot. My
I'm still trying.
uh my son, when I was nursing him, he had an issue. Like if I had dairy, his eczema would flare up really bad. So
Oh, when
I've
you're
had,
breastfeeding?
yeah, when I was breastfeeding with Aiden, I've had a lot of experience with cutting out dairy. So for me, that wasn't as huge of a deal as it would have been 4 years ago.
Isn't it crazy, like, how people like, if you're allergic to ibuprofen or if you're allergic to nuts, like, you're not gonna take it, but when you're allergic to dairy, they're like, "What the heck? I'll get sick."
Yeah, forget it. Give me the ice cream. I don't care.
It's fine, but you never see someone like, "Hand me the peanuts." Like, "I'm gonna
Right?
test out this peanut allergy."
Just to see what happens. I just want to know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, Shantay, thank you so much for coming to my desk talk.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I'm just super proud of you and your mindset flip and everything that you're doing. You guys, we have all of her information linked below. Oh, one last question. Do you have a favorite quote?
I I feel like this is one you should have prepped me for.
I'm sorry. I know, it's terrible. I'm terrible.
Well, I'm trying to remember, what's the Dumbledore quote? I'm sure you have to know this. If you remember to turn on the light, what is that quote?
I don't know. I'm going to Google it because I feel like the worst Harry Potter fan in the entire world.
Well, so do I. If you simply remember.
It comes up on Google as Dumbledore quote light. Like it's like the first thing that pops up too. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of time if only one remembers to turn on the light.
Yay! That's the one.
That's a great one.
It's a good one.
That's really good. Oh, poor Dumbledore. A spoiler.
So good.
It's like there's my spoiler right there.
It's been like 20 years. It's not a spoiler anymore.
I don't know.
If you've seen it, then it doesn't even count as a spoiler anymore.
You got problems. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll stop bugging you. I will have all your stuff linked below.
Thank you.
Shout out your Instagram for people that are just listening.
It's just Shan Richins. Shan, so _ Shan _ Richins _.
Bam.
Okay. Lots of underscores.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a blessed day and find your tribe. Go get them.
Thank you.